Hello, welcome back to the Vulcan gas depot. This is the beginning of episode 5. I'm going to do, to start out with, I'm going to do just a little bit of housekeeping. I'd like to make a few tools and a few other things that are going to make things flow a little more easily throughout the rest of the run. So we'll start out by doing that. I would like the mining backpack. We'll grab... Let's see, we're going to need... There we are. And we'll get a couple of those. Grab both of those for now. And then I would like some stairs. Actually, I'd like, lockers first. We would also like the Omni power transmitter. We need gold and steel for that. Okay, we're going to need some wireless batteries to go with the power transmitter.
Power critical.
Okay, and we'll wire this in. Turn that on, and then let's throw 3 in our suit. Temperature's starting to come up because it's morning. I'm just going to check and see if the, yeah, this is turned on. How did that do? 26.1 degrees. Beautiful.
Oxygen low. Oxygen critical.
Okay. Okay, I want the portable light. Also the laptop, electrum and solder. And we need the programming motherboard for that. Let's just skip the stairs for now. There we are. That's our underpants light, and we will put that in our uniform. And we'll want about 3 of these smaller batteries. We'll want 4 of those, I guess. So we're going to put a large one in there. Okay, motherboard, and we'll put the laptop into there. We'll want wireless batteries in those. Let's turn off some of these things. Power's getting kind of low. Okay, let's see how this is looking. 3 kilomoles at a decent temperature. That's basically empty. 7 kilomoles. Yeah, these are looking fantastic. Pressure. Okay, so that's high enough pressure that it'll start condensing as soon as we cool that down, so we'll worry about that coming up here fairly shortly. Oh, I don't particularly like that. I guess we'll see on those lockers how that looks. It's not the end of the world, but for now, worry about that later.
Air tank low.
Actually, let's worry about charging this up. Okay, let's get our air tank topped off.
Air tank critical. Waste tank critical.
Let's clear our waste tank and let's look at... So this is at 40 degrees and dropping rapidly. If we check the greenhouse... 28, so it's nice and comfortable in here. We're going to open this, just cool it off just a touch. Beautiful. Let's give this some light for a little bit. So eventually that pump is going to pump air from, or rather carbon dioxide from our waste tank emptier system here. So this is running at 20 Celsius in there. Oh, yeah, we need to reverse this pump. So that is at 90 degrees. Okay. So let's do that real quick. I've been pumping all that out. I was wondering why there was so little gas pressure on this other side. Oh, and actually something that I forgot while I was on this, when I was editing the previous episode, I did forget to wire in the data port here, so I'm going to wire that up. So both of those are wired. That's taken care of. And now this pump can be reversed. There we go. And that will let us pump warm gas into here. That gas will cool off relatively quickly. And then we can use this to pull the oxygen out of, once this is cool, we'll pull the oxygen out of that and put it into the oxygen tank, which is sitting right here. And that'll repressurize that oxygen tank. Okay, so now let's get, I want to start working on automation, so we're going to need the IC10 chips. That's going to require more gold. Probably just going to have to do a mining run. I think we are. Yeah, our battery's pretty low anyway. Let's run and do a quick mining run while we've got sun. There's no storm coming. That's basically charged up. So yeah, we'll get to it. Okay, that's the mining run complete. Got a little bit of gold there. Let's just dump. Actually, that's looking fine. Let's throw a stack of gold through there. That'll give off oxygen, which should set fire, and that'll kick the temperature way up. And then let's start doing a bit of iron. Let's throw some copper in there. Okay, let's start making IC chips. This thing can make a couple sets of stairs for us. Maybe just one to start with. Stairs are kind of expensive in terms of iron. Where those icy chips take a while. So we're going to need, I think, 4 or 5 of those and a few housings. We can go set up this atmospherics while we're doing that. Air conditioner. I guess let's put the waste loop this way. Okay. Oh, we're going to need more door kits as well. Not have any other copper. Oh, orbiting organics. That's too bad we missed that one. Doesn't look like there's anyone. Still no seed traders. That orbiting organics, I think, was a seed trader, but it's unfortunate we missed him. Oh, we're out of steel. We're going to bring some more gas in from the outside, and we will also make sure we run our air conditioner, cool that off a little bit. Let's bring this down just a touch more. Okay, so that's coming down to 20 degrees. And then what we'll do is we'll pump this over. So we take this hot gas and we pump it into this section. That will dump heat into the greenhouse. And then the
Waste tank critical.
greenhouse will cool that off and dump the heat out to here. Beautiful. It should be plenty of heat load for now. We want to make sure that cools off before morning. Otherwise, when we have to shut the cooler off, it won't adequately cool and it'll start heating up the greenhouse. So I guess let's run and quick take
Air
a
tank low.
sip of water. There we are. And that's holding at 21. Beautiful. So now I'm going to want a passive vent. And I guess another pump and some pipes.
Air tank low.
Pipes and one pump. wires, and one passive vent. Oh, that wants iron. Battery's real low. Okay, this should be full by now. Ooh, did that just die? Shoot, we're getting condensation in there. Let's take a little bit. Oh, you're kidding me. Better go shut some things off so we get some power going here. Lovely.
Anti-critical. Anti-critical.
Let's just rebuild these real quick. Cannot construction. Oh, while it is damaged. Oh, interesting. That's a new thing. That's a problem. So the trick about repairing solar panels has You're kidding me. Can I not? Okay, so if you totally disassemble them, it looks like it repairs them. So that's good to know. Let's get the Omni power transmitter going so we don't suffocate. And now we should be able to get into here. Okay. Suit off, and let's do a quick bit of construction here. So, did we not grab pipes? I could have sworn we grabbed pipes. Alright, well that's frustrating. Going poorly. Okay, we'll have to run and grab some pipes. Is that a passive vent? That's an active vent. There we are. So we are slowly refilling that oxygen tank. Pressure is at up to 3.4 megapascals. Nice. Let's just make sure this isn't having undue stress on it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook up a system here so we can let in carbon dioxide to this room. And hopefully this starts growing better now. I'm wondering if it's just low on carbon dioxide. I don't really know. In any case, we can put in a vent there, and then we'll put in pipe from here. And then we'll put the other pump right there. And then let's wire these. So that allows us to bring carbon dioxide in from there, and once we wire this one, we'll be able to bring it in from here as well. There we are. So this is nice, cool carbon dioxide, and we can just pump it right into the room. Nice. All right. Poorly. And then how's the temperature on this side looking? 30 degrees, and we've pulled all the oxygen out of there. So we can actually start pumping that CO2 into this room. Let's actually switch this off. We can turn that off. Okay. All right. I guess we'll do a little bit of preliminary work on this. So we're going to need a cooling loop up and over. And then we're going to reject heat out this way to some sort of heat exchanger on here. Not sure exactly how that's going to work just yet. Okay. So that has power. Yeah, let's just filter a little bit more of this carbon dioxide before we get too much. We have a little bit too much pressure in this tank. I think our battery is looking better now. Yeah, solid red. It's not doing great. Oh, I did also want to pull this out. So that's kind of the last of the housekeeping sort of stuff. Just throw some of that junk there. Stuff that we don't need. Stellar stone. Still nothing particularly useful. We really need those seed traders. Okay, we're coming up on night again, so let's get some more cooling going on here. And I guess let's do another quick little burst of mining.
Anti-critical.
Ooh, angry pipe noises. Where is that coming from? Ooh. That is not good. Forgot to turn that valve on. Hoofda. Yeah, we really got to automate some of this stuff. Oh boy. That's funny. Alright, so I think it's about time for another little break. We'll come in, we'll tend to the plants. We'll take a little break here in the room. Let's maybe set this over here. There we are. Okay, what's in here? Basically pure CO2. 94% CO2. So let's just start pumping some of that in here. And the air is perfectly clean. Can we still not pick any of you? Okay, so that's switched off. I'll make some steel. Get another 200 batch. And silicon. Silicon. These walls back on just in case we get a storm. Let's check for traders once more. Genetic engineering has left. I guess we can check for interstellar innovations real quick. From contact. It's worse. 12. Well, that's contact. Let's go turn on the landing pad. Battery's charging. Okay, let's call them down. Galactic Growers is a 3x3. See if we can find Galactic Growers. Finally, a 3x3 landing pad who sells seeds. Just run and see what this one wants, or what they sell. A bunch of junk that we don't really want to buy. They want 81 cable coils, let's sell them that. From So here I decided to make the stuff for that cardboard box the trader wants. He wants some plastic sheets, some duct tape, some filters, and cable coils. I'm gonna produce all that and just kind of fast forward through that so you can see the process. But there's not a lot of interest here. Box, and what else did they want? 10 plastic sheets.
Air tank low.
Two duct tapes, 2 carbon dioxide filters, 10 plastic sheets, and 10 cable coils. Okay. CO2 filter, we'll have to make a couple more of those. Let's go sell a cardboard box full of stuff. And then let's buy some seeds, finally. $100 for that, that's not a bad little deal. Galactic Growers is already interrogated. Let's wait till this idiot leaves so they don't crash into each other. Alright, and let's call those down to land. Okay, landing pad has to be powered on to trade. Okay, we absolutely need food, so we're gonna buy potatoes for sure. And let's close that. And what else do we want? Ferns we sort of already have. They're growing poorly, but we have one growing. Soybeans would be good for food variety. Oh wait, ferns. Ferns are good because then we can make pills. Yeah, and they are good for oxygen as well. And wheat gets us bread. We're going to want that.
Air tank critical.
Oh, air tank critical. Okay. Tomatoes are good, I guess. Sugarcane. Wheat is good to have for bread. Cocoa lets us start making cakes. And 92, so we're not going to be able to get the blueberries or the rice or some of the other ones. That's okay. He will buy carbon dioxide. We'll keep him here for now. We'll probably sell him that carbon dioxide, but not right this second. Okay, that is a big concern dealt with. And that's below condensation pressure, so that's fine. Hopefully that switchgrass is still alive. Hey, moderately well. It's finally doing sort of okay. Alright, we need to start growing food really quickly. Thriving, thriving. Okay, and our switchgrass is finally grown. That's thriving. Tomato is thriving. cocoa I think I'm going to hold off on for now, and the sugar cane as well. Is this looking CO2? Is it 11%? Okay, good. Okay, let's replant. Oh, interesting. Hay is a type plant. So you used to be able to, I think, plant that directly. Apparently you can't anymore. Let's throw all the rest of these seeds on the ground. Alright. Well, that is a big concern taken care of, so I'm starting to get low on cereal bars, so that's alright though, because these plants now are thriving, so in just a couple of days we will have potatoes and tomatoes and a whole bunch of other things, so we have plenty of food for the time being. Got a lot of little sort of housekeeping stuff done this episode. The main thing we got was the seeds, which we absolutely had to get, or we were gonna not survive much longer. And we've got a storm incoming, so that's fun. That'll charge our batteries, so I guess let's get some processing on this happening. That's safe. It's plenty safe, yeah. We can get lots of gas made here. Oh, I did also want to look at, let's just look real quick before the storm hits, at putting in a pump on this line right here. So let's grab a wrench, pull up that piece of pipe, and then we'll put in a pump going that way. We'll wire that in. Okay. And that should actually process a lot more gas now. 3 moles, 4 moles. I heard someone on Reddit say this could do like 50 moles per tick or whatever, but I don't know if I believe that. Pressure is dropping there. Let's see if we... That's at max speed.
Waste tank caution.
Yeah, so the problem is that pump can't keep up with 2 of those. So it can only keep up with 1 of them. Okay, waste tank caution. Let's take care of that real quick. Yeah, 7 moles. Yeah, so that actually... A single one of those actually does process more than both of them together, as long as we can keep this pump down. So we'll need a second pump on there. There's just more volume of gas in that, because that's hydrogen and pollutants, as opposed to just carbon dioxide. So I guess if we put it maybe something like that, it's a little bit ugly. Okay, we're gonna need pipes. Are we out of pipes again? Wow. Okay, so we got 2 pumps running now. 729 and dropping, so that's keeping up. What happens if we run them both? He's dead on that. So levels out at about 1.1 MPa. Yeah, we're getting 8 moles processed per tick. So it's doing pretty well. Got a lot of very warm CO2 there. Okay, so that's hooked up. I think these need like steel sheets or something. Yeah, steel sheets.
Air tank low. Air tank critical. Air tank critical.
Okay, so this is going to want a welder. And actually we're going to need to put in a valve on this as well. So it is... Oh, there's the storm. Let's turn that off. Okay, so for now, I have to remove... Shoot, this is not ideal. So that's going to have to be a digital valve there eventually. I guess we'll put that in right away.
Hydration critical.
Let's go make that digital valve real quick. Boy, these storms have gotten a lot harder to see in. Oh, is this stuff taking damage? Doesn't look like it is. Better get a door on there real quick, though. There we go. Ooh, that was kind of scary. Why is this... Wind turbines should be producing a ridiculous amount of power right now, but they don't seem to be. Oh, yeah, they are. It's charging our battery. Okay. Oh! That was bad. Well, it's a good thing we have another oxygen tank. Well, live and learn. Okay, let's see about getting that digital valve. Why? Oh. What is going on? There's leftover oxygen in here from that, and it... Oh. Jeez. Man, this is chaos. I really should have put that door on there a long time ago. Holy cow. All this stuff is damaged. So the stuff on shelves didn't seem to take any damage from the storm, so that's good to know. You can leave stuff outside. Let's keep one of those. We'll head outside with that. Okay, something is not happy. I'm thinking it's these. Yeah, it's these things. Okay, boy. So the liquid is draining out of there. That's recondensing back into here. So this tank is now losing heat to these radiators, which should be actually radiating quite a lot. Convecting hundreds of joules. It's not an insane amount, but we should be starting to get pollutant condensing, which we are. And that means this valve should start draining that. Oh, and it won't, because that is a... Yeah, that can't be a pump. That's going to have to be a valve. We need a wrench. No, we need a drill. It's very hard to work in this storm. So for right now, let's just put a pipe in there. And that should now be condensing. There we go. We're getting liquid pollutant. And it's 2:30 outside, so we want to... that... We're going to need a condensation valve on this as a safety precaution. Okay, storm is over finally. Oh, let's go turn the air conditioner off. Okay, so that condensation valve will route over to here. We'll need insulated pipes for that. We have insulated pipes, liquid pipes. So just in case this does get gas trapped in it at night, as it cools off, if it's not open to the other tank, it can't drain liquid out of there, and that condensation would cause problems. So this allows that to be dumped out of there. Alright, that is that. How much liquid did we end up making? Not enough to fill. Okay, yeah, so it's just vaporizing as soon as it gets in there. That's okay, though. It will eventually start making liquid. Okay. See if we can just remove this thing. Hand drill to deconstruct. Yeah, so that just disappeared. That's fine. Let's do a little more house cleaning here. Let a little more oxygen into the room, or more carbon dioxide. Fill up our... that was our waste tank. That was bad. There we go. Okay, I took a real short break. I want to do a little bit more before I finish the episode. Just a little bit more house cleaning, kind of tidy up a few things, and then automate a couple of things as well. So let's put on our suit, and we'll head out into the other room. Okay, stairs. Want a couple more lockers to tidy up. We're going to need a couple more chips. Okay, and then we want to put a locker up over here. Oh, it won't let me put one there, huh? Make a housing. And for now, we're just going to need one of those. Alright, let's automate the greenhouse. Let's put it here, I guess. Seems like a good place. We'll wire that in real quick. So the main thing we're automating in the greenhouse here is just the grow light for now. We just need to get that set up so we don't burn our plants. So grow light is set. Grow light to D0. Start. Let's see, let's turn the light off first. So save to grow light on is 0. So we sleep for 5 minutes. We turn the grow light on and we sleep for 10 minutes. Where's the actual button? Come on. Okay, we're taking that off of there. That's really kind of a problem there. Okay, we'll have to set up the grow light again on D0. There we are, and turn it on. And so that should turn the grow light off. And I guess let's just change this for a second here. 1 and 2. Okay, so off for 1, on for 2, off for 1, on for 2. Yep, that's working. Now we'll just put that back. Okay, so that is the grow light automated. And we'll do a little more tidying. Those are pretty badly damaged. I'm just going to recycle those. And then we also want a chip for this air conditioner out here. So we'll alias the cooler to D0. Okay, so I think setting is the temperature it's set at. And then we want temperature on the output. And then output 2, I believe, is the waste. Okay, so we want to load the setting into R0. And we want to add 1 to the R0. So we're going to run it until it gets within 1 degree of the set point, and then we'll stop because we don't want to have it heat the temperature back up. If you let it just run on its own, it'll cycle between heating and cooling, and that's no good. So we'll set R0 if R1 is greater than R0, which is 1 higher than the setting. And then we will load into R1, because now we don't need the output temperature anymore. We can overwrite with the input temperature, or the waste temperature, rather. Okay, that should do it. Confirm. We'll export that chip. Put that in there, and then run that. Device not found at line 5. It's not D0, it should be DB. Okay, so it's shutting off. And that's because it's too high on the output temperature. So I think we're set there. And I'm actually going to set that to 19 because we're adding 1 to it. So now it'll stop at 20 inside there. And so as soon as that gets to be night, it should come down to temperature and shut off. So we can just leave this on now all the time because it's not actually, it's not actually consuming, I mean, it's taking 10 watts or something, but that's negligible. So that's done. Let's see how this is doing. That's empty, so we can turn these off. We'll worry about automating this in a future episode. This is going to be quite a nightmare to automate. Not a nightmare, but it takes a lot of code. And I guess lastly, let's just build a few more atmospherics units. So the data disk was on the floor. This actually, this has been updated. So this now just requires a screwdriver. So the data disk, it looks like, just fell out of the thing. Let's move that over to recycling since we won't actually need that anymore. Okay, and then let's just make a bunch of insulated pipes. We will need oodles of those. Okay, so we're going to have a 2-stage AC here. And then we're going to want another one somewhere over here. We'll just put this one on the shelf for the time being. We got, what, 3 more? Let's just finish those out. So we'll go in and swap out our air tank. And actually, I was looking for... Let's make a utility. Wants iron. Put that there. And then we'll grab that utility. And now we should be able to do this.
Air tank critical.
There we are. Air tank. And dump the waste tank.
Waste tank critical.
And this should be... Let's turn that off for a minute. Let's let that drop. Beautiful. Oh, and also, so now that we know that this doesn't actually take damage, I'm going to actually just disassemble this real quick. Turns out these walls aren't necessary to protect this shelf here. Is my wireless battery turned off? Okay. Just doesn't have that much range. There we go. And let's run out and weld these up. Let's grab that atmospherics kit. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the arc welder really can't exist on the wireless battery. I guess we'll put a proper one in there. Okay, temperature's dropping rapidly. This should come on in a little bit here. We'll take this door apart real quick. Let's see, is it crowbar? Angle grinder. And then a drill. Alright. Let's grab a few more pipes. And we'll quick wire this up. So this is going to be a simple two-stage air conditioner. This is part of the hybrid open-loop cooler that we're building with the pollutant tanks. And so that one is going to waste into this right here. And we'll need regular pipes to finish that off. And our third one is going to go somewhere over here. This will be part of the cryogenic system, which will ultimately make liquid hydrogen, liquid volatiles rather, and liquid carbon dioxide. Okay, let's go see if the greenhouse cooler is running. That's at 31.
Hunger critical.
And that is running. And if I adjust the set point on that, that turns off. Beautiful. And is that actually 48? I am curious if this gets above 150, if it'll actually shut off. It looks like it's not even going to hit the 150, which is nice. So we've got the set point just about in this exact sweet spot. I guess we'll come in and have a quick bite to eat. Oh, and for those asking to automate this airlock, I don't plan on automating this one because this greenhouse fairly quickly is going to be taken apart. I actually intend to replace this with a much bigger greenhouse relatively soon, so we're going to just do that as the next sort of phase for this. And let's just get a few more trays going here. Now that everything's properly automated and won't die. And how many? There's a few cereal bars left. That might be the last cereal bar we actually eat. We'll probably just kill some time here waiting for our hygiene to improve. How much is in here? 700 kPa. Quite... well, not a lot of that is oxygen. Okay, we're going to pull all the oxygen out of this line, try and drop this pressure as much as we can. What I would like to do is pump all of the gas from this into... yeah, here's what we'll do. We'll reverse this. So once the oxygen is... yeah, that's basically out of that line right there. We can turn that off. We'll pump all of the gas over to this side. Or as much of it as we can, anyway. Okay, that should do. And now we'll put this back the way it was. So now what that allows us to do is come in here. We can remove this pump and just replace it with a section of pipe. Now, since this is directly connected, we can use that existing filtration unit to pull oxygen out of this room and into this tank. But that is okay. Oh, perfect. Get our switchgrass seeds. Okay, it's growing well. So we are actually doing a little bit better now. Let's put that here. Okay, we'll head back out and turn that filtration unit on. Okay, and if we look now, the pressure in that room is 133 with 64% oxygen. Whoa, why is it 400 Celsius in there? Oh, that's out here. Okay. Whew, I gave myself a bit of a scare there. So we're at 64% oxygen. And now that oxygen ratio should come down. There we are. And we're filling that canister. We'll get that down to about 70 kPa, and then we'll replace it all with CO2, the oxygen we've taken out.
Air tank critical.
And now, if we vent into here, now it's just venting directly into that room, but that's okay.
Air tank low.
Oh, bugger.
Air tank critical.
Boy, I'm really bad at switching those tanks. I should get better at that. Okay, so yeah, that is coming down, and honestly, we can just let that go for quite a while. We can come back in here and just turn on some CO2 and bring a little more CO2 in so that the pressure stays high enough. Okay, and we don't want to drop this too much. We'll drop to about a megapascal here. If we go much below that, we're risking not cooling effectively. Yeah, let's call that good. 118. Okay, and then this is slowly dropping. That's going to bring this temperature, or this tank, up. There's a negligible amount of other gases in there, but I'm not going to worry about those. That's looking very nice. Okay. So that's basically everything to do with the greenhouse automated. Well, mostly automated. I still have to manually walk in there every now and then and just pump some CO2 into the room, but that's a very slow process. I'm in there often enough. That's not going to be an issue. The temperature control is the most critical thing, and that's already taken care of, so we're good there. And yeah, we can just leave that running, I think, for the time being. It'll take a very long time to pull enough oxygen out of that room to actually cause a problem with anything. Eventually the pressure would drop low enough that the plants would start to complain, but that's going to take quite a while. So I think the very last thing I'd like to do is just a quick round of mining while I have some daylight, and then we'll probably wrap up the episode. So thank you to everyone who's been watching. I've been just absolutely thrilled by the response so far. People are really enjoying the series. They're leaving good comments. I'm getting lots of subscribers. So please keep it up. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing that. It really helps. If I can get enough subscribers and get some momentum behind this, it really encourages me to keep making more of the videos that you seem to be enjoying. So everyone, I look forward to seeing you in future episodes. The plan for the next one is to improve to basically build the cooling system for the outside gas concentration system, and that's going to be cooling the volatiles and the carbon dioxide that we're collecting at night. And so yeah, see you next time. Bye for now. Yeah, that's our first potato harvested.